When American and Allied troops pushed deep into Germany in 1945, they expected to face hardened soldiers, artillery, and tanks. What they did not expect was to open the gates of hell itself. As units advanced, they stumbled upon camps ringed with barbed wire, filled not with enemy soldiers, but with skeletal prisoners, mass graves, and evidence of industrial-scale slaughter. The liberation of Nazi concentration camps was not a single event, but a series of encounters across Europe in the final months of World War II. For many U.S. soldiers, it was the most shocking, heart-wrenching experience of their lives. What they saw redefined the very meaning of the war. The horrors revealed. In April 1945, American forces of the 4th Armored Division entered Ohrdruf, a subcamp of Buchenwald. What they saw was beyond belief. Piles of emaciated corpses, torture devices, and survivors too weak to stand. General Dwight D. Eisenhower, upon visiting, ordered every soldier, local civilian, and even journalists to witness the atrocities. He famously declared, "The things I saw beggar description. The visual evidence and verbal testimony of starvation, cruelty, and bestiality were so overpowering." Soon after, U.S. troops liberated Buchenwald, Dachau, and dozens of other camps. Soldiers who had braved battlefields now broke down in tears at the sight of children with hollow eyes and survivors clutching them with trembling hands, whispering, "Are you Americans?" The American experience, from shock to duty. For young GIs, many barely out of high school, these camps revealed a side of humanity they could not have imagined. Some soldiers initially thought the skeletal figures were prisoners of war, starved by retreating Germans. Only later did they grasp the deliberate, systematic attempt to annihilate Jews, Roma, political prisoners, and countless others. Survivors described how every shred of dignity had been stripped away. Families were torn apart, children murdered, identities erased. Yet, in the moment of liberation, many clung to a flicker of hope that their nightmare had finally ended. American medics rushed to provide food, clothing, and medical care, though tragically, many survivors were too far gone to be saved. Recording the evidence. The U.S. military understood immediately that what they had uncovered needed to be documented. Photographers and cameramen filmed the camps, capturing haunting images that would later become irrefutable evidence in the Nuremberg trials. Eisenhower himself insisted that future generations must see, so no one could ever dismiss it as propaganda. American soldiers escorted villagers from nearby German towns to see the camps, forcing them to confront what had been done in their name. Many wept. Others turned away in shame. For the liberators, it was a grim reminder that wars are not only fought on battlefields, but in the hearts of ordinary people who choose silence or complicity. Why it mattered for America. For the United States, liberation of the camps became a moral cornerstone of its role in World War II. The war was no longer just about defeating an aggressor, it was about confronting evil itself. The Holocaust gave deep meaning to the sacrifices of American soldiers who had crossed oceans, stormed beaches, and shed blood. The survivors, many of whom immigrated to the U.S. after the war, became living testaments. Their stories shaped American identity, law, and values in the decades that followed. It also gave birth to a vow: never again. Conclusion: a war for humanity. The liberation of the Holocaust camps stands as one of the most heart-touching yet haunting chapters of World War II. For American troops, it was a defining moment, not only of victory, but of moral awakening. They were not just liberators of territory, they were liberators of human dignity. As the gates swung open and survivors staggered into the arms of young American soldiers, the war's true meaning crystallized. It had not only been a fight for nations, but a fight for humanity itself. Even today, those images endure, not merely as history, but as a warning, a testament, and a call to conscience.